Reclaiming Timeless Ways, Mike Traster, Simon Fuller, glad to have you along for another episode. Mike, another topic underway, and hopes that, ultimately each time we flip on the camera, hit the record button, get ready to throw it onto YouTube, we hope to do some good.
Absolutely.
Today's topic that hopefully we can do a little good with is?
Addiction rationalizations.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's a tough subject.
And I could almost promise that myself, you, and everybody watching at some point is going to fit the category of what we're going to be talking about today. Because if we want something,
right,
as humans, we
right,
can rationalize our way into it.
Yeah, or you just don't talk about it. You
Right.
just do it, right? I do it because I have to. Right, so that's a rationalization. I don't have to. I feel like I have to.
Right.
So the first rationalization is, and I think this may be the jewel in the middle of the whole crown. You can't understand how I feel. That's very dramatic. Right? That's like a giant steamroller pushing you away. Right? So that would be number one. Number two is you got to die sometime. So that, again, that's a big shove back. Right? They just hitting you with this massive load of negativity.
Yeah, so if they're doing something destructive, whether it's through diet or consumption of some sort, well, we got to go sometime.
Right.
Okay.
They just switched you off.
Right.
And you can respond to say, with all due respect, I've heard that spoken many times. Maybe it feels that way, or maybe it's just a good way to fend me off. I know that everybody that's dealing with habitual use of a substance is humiliated by the fact that they feel insufficient power to change.
Right.
The feeling that you have no power doesn't mean you have no power.
Right.
It means you don't have access to it yet. Right? What difference does it make? Same thing. Right? What difference does it make? Mike, you got to stop smoking. Why? What difference is? In other words, my life sucks. So what?
Right.
So I live another year, 2 years, 10 years? For what? For the same crap? Right? So they're pushing you back, way back. A few more months won't matter. So they've already painted doom on the door, right? Doom. They say a few more months, yeah, I guess they're right. Maybe it is. Maybe they know something I don't know. Or they're just fending you off, right? I built up a tolerance. That's just clever. That's like old druggy bar talk, right? Too much stress at home / work with kids, relationships, money. I have too much stress. What they're telling you is you're being mean. This is my medication.
This is what makes me feel good. I like it. It helps me cope with whatever it is.
Right. You're going to take this away from me? You're a bad person to me.
Yeah.
You're a source. Now you're the source of my pain.
Yeah.
Boy, if that doesn't push you away, I don't. Right? That's a very effective.
Right.
My significant other is a bleep.
I might be a longer bleep, Mike. No.
I know I was, or at least I was supposed to be. I hurt my back, my knee, my neck. Right? I'm having tests done. What difference does it make? Right? So again, it's like all of these are like very powerful emotional levers to get you not just to back off, but to flee and to feel guilty that you tried.
Yeah.
Wow. I needed to concentrate. That's practical. To relax.
Yeah.
That's for your safety, your well-being. To work, productivity, more practicality. To sleep, so I can work, right? But really, you need 3 beers so you can sleep?
Right.
You don't understand that that's 21 beers a week, which is a lot of beer.
Right.
Maybe that's not true, even if it feels true.
Right.
And if you've been saying it long enough, with enough emphasis, it's effective. But the fact that it's effective doesn't necessarily mean that it's true, right? Everyone in the family gets XYZ disease, which means, what difference does it make?
Right.
Right? And again, this is like the D8 tractor that you're trying to have a tug of war with. It's going to win,
Right.
right? Unless you identify it and say, that's a very powerful approach to get me to back off. But I'm saying it because I don't want to see you destroy yourself,
Yeah.
and that's almost inevitable. It's too late. It's like saying I've only got a couple months. Same idea, which is, maybe it's true. And if it is true, you may not have much leverage with them, sadly. So, some approaches, maybe a book that you heard of, or an inspirational teacher who's not a crook. 12-step program, Teen Challenge is a program for people that have addiction issues. U.S. Department of Health, research librarian in the state library, Mayo.
And addictions might come in so many forms. I mean, oftentimes we think of it as like drugs, substance abuse, cigarettes, tobacco,
Right.
Nicotine, vape, things like that. But it rears its head in the form of sex, beauty, shopping, workaholics. All those are addictions that, when you plugged in all those pushback phrases that you get from somebody, we've all, at some point in our lives, either current, past, or future, have probably dealt with or bet ourselves with something that we realized, whoa, this is consuming me more than it should, to an unhealthy point.
Right.
It's breaking the family finances because I'm spending too much, or my addiction and my substance is hurting my whatever it might be.
Debt, right.
Gambling, right. It's affecting things negatively. And so when you're talking, what I like, that we did a show on this a while back. What I like that we're talking about today is, now you hear all these, something like that. You addressed a whole list of maybe pushback. Whoa, Mike, don't want to go there. Here's my ex. Stay away. It's my business.
Right.
Stop. I heard from a friend who's also a psychologist. It was similar, somewhat unrelated, but he used an analogy that I liked, and I'm going to apply today. He said, so I'm a recovered alcoholic, Simon. He was trying to help me understand something as it relates to dealing with somebody else that I care about and didn't want to have something bad happen to. Which, if we have a friend that's an addict, a loved one, we don't want anything bad to happen, correct?
Sure, absolutely.
So how do we address this? Well, I'm not necessarily, I'm going to let you cue in on that, but the way he made it make sense in my head, because I'm like, wait a minute, was this my business, or is this my place to intervene, or it's uncomfortable.
Right.
Sometimes the first step is to get myself willing to step into their box, because oftentimes we say, not my business.
Right.
He said, Simon, I'm a recovered alcoholic, 5 years now. So we go out and hang out at a baseball game. And everybody around us is having peanuts and beer.
Sure.
And so down comes the guy of the aisle. Beer, peanuts, popcorn. And you want a beer, Simon. So you grab one, and I say to you, well, hey, I'd like a beer too. Simon, could you grab me one? What are you going to say to me? And I said, well, no. He said, why? Because I care about you. I don't want you, to go back. Right. You know that, you know where I'm at. You want the best outcome for me. So it is your job as a friend, as somebody who knows me and understand what I'm trying to accomplish, to be there for me. I'm not saying you can't have a beer, Simon, but you need to step up. And it's kind of the same thing here, Mike. And that's the first step, is to be willing to step up.
Right.
And now the second piece is how, Mike? How do you approach that when you're hit with that steamroll?
I think you start by defining yourself as somebody that cares about them actively, and you value them.
Yeah.
So you open the door with that. Say, I care about you, and because your well-being matters to me, I'm expressing concern. you know?
Well, Mike, there's nothing to worry about. You know, nothing's wrong with me. I'm fine. I've got it under control.
Right. Well, that's a good, I have to say this, right? That's a great shut up phrase.
Right.
But it
right.
doesn't change the underlying truth.
Right.
You know, and that's why I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Because that's important. You know, I can't stop you from doing what you want to do, but I can maybe alert you so you can reevaluate, because you need to.
Yeah.
You know, and
It is tough. You meet somebody
Oh,
in
it's
that
very
situation.
tough.
They're not just going to open up after 30 seconds of conversation
No.
and let you in, and they're going to deflect and deflect and deflect.
if you're working on not smoking, and let's say you have a beer occasionally or two in a bar, but you don't have a beer issue, but your issue is smoking,
Yeah.
and you're frustrated or pissed off or depressed because somebody screwed you over. So you're sitting in a bar with a friend, and you have 2 or 3 beers, and you go, oh, screw it, I'm going to have a cigarette. What you're saying is, what difference does it make? And you're using the beer to make it easy to break your own boundary, to
Right.
fail. Don't. Recognize that that's what you're doing, that you're conning yourself by making yourself intellectually numb,
Right.
so you can succumb again to your addiction.
Right.
I'm addicted to cigarettes. I haven't had one in 39 and a half years.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Yes. Do I want one? Yes. There's actually places in my mouth that are still sore to this day. And this little red triangle here is from radiation 12 years ago because of a tumor. So, now, did the cigarettes cause it? I don't know. Did they contribute to it? Highly probable,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, when we have an addiction, it's destroying us, and we're important. And if we feel bad about something, that's evidence that we're important, because we had hopes for ourselves. When our hopes were dashed because of an accident or an illness or a betrayal, then we got afraid of our hopes for ourselves, and we used our addiction to become numb.
Yeah. Well said. It's tough. It's not an easy topic, and
No.
many of us face one. But be aware, both for yourself and for others, and be active, an active participant.
Right.
Um,
And talk to your
help.
friend, because you care about them.
Bingo.
you
And
know?
that's the point.
What was it? Well, the thing that was spoken to me almost 40 years ago was, you realize that's a suicidal behavior. When I was putting a cigarette in my mouth, I was like, wow, boy, do you have a lot of gall. I
Right.
thought. I didn't say it. And then I looked in the mirror and I looked at myself and I said, you're an addict.
Yeah.
Ooh, here's this thing that's breaking me.
Right.
You know, it's breaking me.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how strong I was.
Right.
You know, I used to pick up small cars to amuse my friends. It didn't mean that cigarettes couldn't break me.
Right. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, right. The two don't cancel each other out.
Right.
You know? So,
Right. Addictions, they're tough. Well, hopefully you took some away from this show, and we thank you for joining us and look forward to sharing with you in the future. In the meantime, please do subscribe and share this YouTube channel with your friends and family. Until next time, Mike Traster, Simon Fuller saying have a fantastic day.
enjoy.